Today we're going to be talking about owning your shit, owning physical media, which is a topic that has been beaten to death on YouTube, but I'm going to keep kicking this dead horse. And the reason I'm kicking this dead horse is because it's very important to me that these companies realize that this isn't a minority of people that want to own the things they pay for. This is a majority of people. And so the more that I can talk about it and the more that everyone can talk about it, I think this is going to be a better thing and put more pressure on these companies to maybe stop being so shitty to us. Please. Please! So anyway, in today's video, we're going to talk about music and games. These are the two biggest areas where I think physical media is kind of leaving right now, and what that means, why you should want to own the things that you own if you don't know already, and why these companies are trying to take that away from you, and if you don't know that already. And if you do know all of this, maybe come along for the ride, because I might say one or two new things or new perspectives that I haven't heard, at least on the internet before. So anyway, let's get into it. Physical media. In case you've been living under a rock or in blissful ignorance, God, I wish I was living in blissful ignorance. The things that you get to own, you physically get to own, are disappearing. And this goes with everything from houses to cars to TVs to, and what I'm referring to here is like leasing, rent to own. Like, you never have anything that's paid off. And this is very deliberate by the financial and business powers that be, because they learned that if people are very comfortable contributing small monthly payments and not that comfortable contributing large lump sum payments to just own a thing. And so they've made these little tiny little payments that you make forever seem really appealing. You might be jumping in and saying, well, hey, but if I pay off my car, then I own my car. And if I pay off my TV, then I own my TV. And what I say back to that is many of those things are designed to break almost exactly when you pay them off. And the idea behind that is then you buy another one and you're back in the cycle. I think the financial world and the rent to own and the paying lease payments on a car and stuff like that is very, very predatory. But we're going to ignore that because we're talking about physical media today. Instead of using iTunes like you used to do and just paying for a bunch of songs or burning a CD onto your computer and paying for a bunch of songs and then owning them or pirating them, you would own the media that you had, and then you would put all of that media onto, say, an iPod, which these are making a comeback. I'm going to be making another video about that later this month, so if you're interested, subscribe. But when Spotify came along, they were like, hey, people like having access to every song, and if we just charge them a very specific small amount of money, they'll come to us. And this was great for piracy, and this was great in the beginning, and it's a great option. I've heard a lot of other YouTubers talk about digital ownership of things is a great option. Being able to rent things digitally is a great option. What we do not want is it to replace physical media. I don't want CDs to go away. I don't want vinyls to go away. I don't want MP3 players and iTunes to go away in the interest of Spotify because everyone's using it, because then that means that there is no point where you can have music and not be paying for it. I'll say that again one more time. There is no point where you will have access to that art without paying for it. And this is exactly what these companies want. These companies make way more money by having you rent everything in your life. And so when we talk about PlayStation, and they recently announced that they were taking away physical discs, physical game discs from their company, is it any wonder that they would want to do this? Of course not. Everyone understands that this is a ploy to make more money. They don't have to spend the money producing the physical disc and the case, and they get to pocket all of that. They don't have to spend the money distributing the game to all the different stores across the country. They can pocket that money. If you are buying digitally, that money is going directly to Sony. I happen to think that the majority of people are really upset about this because of how clearly it is a cash grab from the business. And at the same time that game prices are reaching all-time highs, GTA is launching at $80 and Switch games are $90 and all of that, we're getting less for more money. How does that make sense? How does it make sense as a consumer to be getting less games released every year, less physical games, and it's more money? Yeah, and it's more expensive. And I get why people are pissed off about this. I'm pissed off about this. So if it's not abundantly clear already, a big incentive for Sony specifically doing this is profit. And that's a big incentive for why other companies as well would take away physical media from their consumers. Another reason is control. When you buy physical media, many of you are probably aware, you only get a license to play the game. You do not own the game. You have a license to play the game, meaning that the company can take away that media or edit that media at any time. So if there is a game that you really like and you want to play for years and years and years, and it comes out on the PS4 or PS5 and you've owned it digitally, and then by the time the PS11 or whatever gets here, if it ever does, and they decide to stop supporting that game, it doesn't matter how much of your money you put into that game. It doesn't matter if you spent $80 on that game, $90, $100 at launch. They can just take it away, just like that. And these companies like this because it allows them to control exactly what is in the media, exactly how filtered the media is. It's something that makes me uncomfortable from almost like a freedom perspective. What does it mean if companies can edit and change songs, if companies can edit and change games and delete the things you have bought, delete the narratives of those things, change the narratives of those things? These are the two biggest reasons that I see companies trying to take away physical media, which is profit and control. Profit and control. Ugh. Bad combination of words. So now hopefully you understand why companies want to take away physical media from consumers, and the reasons that you don't want them to do that as a consumer are kind of similar to the same reasons that the companies are trying to take those things away from you. The first reason is financial, right? These companies have done the math. They know that they make more money with you subscribed than if you just outright buy those pieces of media. Now, there are obviously ways that you can play the system a little bit. If you are playing like 30 games a day, and maybe Game Pass is a good deal for you. But for the majority of people who are subscribed, they aren't getting their value's worth out of the subscription models. Another financial reason why you might want to own your own media is resale potential. If you decide, oh man, I can't wait to play this game, and the game comes out, buy the physical disc, you play the game sucks, you can sell it and kind of recoup some of the value you've spent, versus if you buy that in a digital-only format, you're just out that money. But the main reason to buy physical media, the main idea I want you to leave this video with, is it keeps power in the hands of the consumer. If you own that piece of media, it can't be altered, it can't be changed, it can't be taken away from you. This is art, and art is very important to the human experience. So it is important to own that art in some way. That's going to be it for today. If you guys like this video, be sure to check out the others. And if you like those, subscribe. All right, I'll be back next Tuesday. Later.